publish these all close to each other. Anyway, welcome to Noises with Ivan, number 11. I'm recording all these as an anniversary or as a celebration for... I thought it was just going to be like an hour and a half. I've done two 40-minute ones, so that's not off really. But I've still got I've been through maybe half the stuff. This is how I went through those cassettes, and I've been through this many of the 7 inches. And as I was searching to find the deep sleep, I got some gunk in my throat. As I was searching to find the deep sleep one, I noticed just how much was left of these and these. So it's not that much, but it's just as much as I've already gone through. And then I have, the whole thing of CDs. So I don't know if this was a good idea or not. I like going through a normal 5 releases that I listen to throughout the week. There's a lot less pressure on my voice. You know, you don't think of this kind of thing as work. You think of it as a fun hobby. I was thinking about, I don't know if I rolled the intro yet, but welcome to Noise with Ivan. Yeah, Doctor Strange Records. I would say that's hilarious. Wow. This is their 19th release. This was like kind of pop punk, kind of emo type stuff. There was another Blood Loss also, which I suppose I'll pull up later. It was very, very similar to this. This one right here, Piss and Vinegar and Alleged Bricks. This was a really fun one. And on pink vinyl. Yeah. Oh no. Spitfires United and Alleged Bricks with their Piss and Vinegar EP. Both the bands exhibited right there. This was a harder record still. Not like on the harsh side of things. Definitely on the punk side. Not like it was not a very grungy. All of this is grungy to a point, except for, like Little Mountain. But this was not really like that. Soul Search, I remember I grabbed this. It was not really my thing. Not really my thing to back to back. I don't know. It wasn't grungy enough for me. It wasn't like just a blast of noise when I put it on, And that was the kind of thing that I wanted. The band Barge was really good in that way, and that Back to the Streets compilation with the Minor Threat cover and Youth Attack, you'll see that here soon. Negative Reaction, this was kind of on the Stoner Doom side of things. Slight Abrasion of the Cornea and Diagna. Only one song per side is You Will Discover. Again, not the classics here. We're not looking for classics. We're looking for just the meat. Where's the meat? All we ever get is the skin. All you can find online is the skin. Right? If you're looking for stuff, we want the meat, dude. Government Warning, the guy who started Vinyl Conflict was in this band. I think anyway. Grave Mistake Records. This was basically the Vinyl Conflict label before the Vinyl Conflict label. Somebody, no. Government Warning. Yeah, great classic band. Everybody loves Government Warning, I think. Creeping Dose. Ooh, this little device on here. Right? Oh! Brand the Lion's Mouth, the Shivering. So emo. I will say, if they had this on Spotify, and they would have had a lot of plays from me. Did I just look at it myself? Yeah, no, I did show you. Such a good band. Council Records, Chicago, Illinois. Into the Hurricane. So 2 labels? Is that what you're saying to me? Yeah, if you can find this, is a great one. But you also have like the YouTube channels that put stuff like this up. But I don't know. Is it? Yeah, there's probably YouTube channels with all this stuff up. I actually wonder how many of these are on YouTube. Don't Bring Me Down, Electric Light Orchestra. D.O.A, We Occupy with Jello Biafra. Hello everyone, this is Jello Biafra. He had a good, he's a big Magma fan too. We Occupy. It's a Jello Biafra record, you know what it sounds like. Sudden Death Records. He knows what's up. He has a really great collection. And they're in boxes like this, which is what I like. Straight Jacket. I was saying, Straight Jacket, Blood Loss. And that other band that I said was like a lighter punk band, Bollweevils. And I guess that's the Chicago sound. Is this a band from Chicago? 2003. The year I was born. Dead Rock Records. Portland. They're from Portland. Yeah. Very fun if you like softer, fun, punk, lighter, energetic, emo, kind of. Piedmont Charisma. This was a hard, awesome record. I love the aesthetics. You have to always keep this perfect piss yellow. And my favorite, Youth Attack. There's a video of them playing. The vocalist was like 11 years old or something. And he had a picture of a Sharpie marker drawing of a penis on his back. And it had a little coming out of it. And it said, thanks for coming. I hate you, yes, all of you. I hate lies, yes, I do. I hate lies, and that's why I hate you. That was me as a kid. I don't like that. If I was to discover this band now, I'd be like, not cool. Oh, did I show the kids? Soviet State. Very influential. No, I didn't get the Deep Sleep. The Deep Sleep I got on one of my birthdays. Jeff on vocal, Teddy. It doesn't say their ages. Classic. This was the other one that I got along with the Reaction and Never Ending Parties single. The other one I got, the Deep Sleep record I got on my birthday at some point. Deranged Records, Slave Scene. This was... And by the way, it seemed like it was illegal to have that kind of language on an album when I was a kid. But yeah, I mean, I wish I had never... Because it was hard to break the habit of saying curse words. I wish I had never done it in the first place. You know, it became such a valuable thing not to do it later in life. And I heard my sister cursing, and I was like, listen, I know I'm the worst one out of all of us kids, but you were going to be so ashamed at someday at the way you acted, or else, if you don't come to that point where it's an awful thing that you've done, then you're going to go down a path that isn't good for you, that has worse things ahead of it. You have worse things for yourself than those curse words if you don't roll back now, you know. And I snowballed nasty activities, you know, and I suppose that this kind of music was an influencer there. You know, now I have a different thing. It's kind of, you know, I was interested in this kind of thing as a kid, and I grew in the faith, and that kind of extinguished me. Trying to model myself after the kind of things that are in this box. So I would say, you know, punk is, I suppose that punk is all about expressing yourself and finding, you have to make yourself a punk rocker as opposed to, or have to make you have to squeeze yourself into this image that you have for yourself as opposed to it just being art. You know, art is supposed to mean something. It's supposed to be something itself. So there's a detachment that you have to have from it, I think. And if you're young like that and you don't understand it yet, that makes sense. Some people get thrown in to being punks. Another great government warning track. Mickey on No Way Records. Maybe this is the guy. No Way Records. The little middle finger there. I was watching Dragon Ball Z and they were always giving each other the middle finger. Through so many others, can I say? Obviously, I think we can tell what kind of release this is. Shot Dead. I don't recognize that. This is on clear vinyl, can I say? Yeah, that's probably a hard thing to understand. And some people live their whole lives like this. I don't know. There's, you know, I would say that Jesus is the only way not to be held down. I haven't heard this. I'm going to listen to this. Don't let me forget. Jesus is the only way not to be held down by the world. You're either a slave to sin. That's my message. Check out Slavery, the album. I want you to listen to it, but I also want you to understand why. You're either a slave to sin or a slave to righteousness. You know, so much of a lot of this, the idea is freedom. The idea that we have as artists is that we're being free. But aren't we living our whole lives trying to be free? Aren't we pursuing freedom? And is freedom a good thing? Have you ever been completely satisfied in your life? I know I have. And I know that when I'm not satisfied, it's because I'm looking for it in worldly things. Like, maybe records. Right? And maybe that's not that. Maybe that's probably why I'm not myself an archivist. I do it, and I utilize these kinds of functions. So if you feel that you're trapped pursuing material things, because I'm kind of promoting all this stuff, and I kind of caught myself singing a song that doesn't really, and I have to ask myself, why do I not do this? Why am I not an archivist? This is a Ivan Unravels. Oh, that's the name of the episode. I suppose that that's the case. Why I'm not an archivist. You can probably watch these videos and disagree with me and be an archivist and collect albums. My throat. This is a lot of talking for one man to do. Going through all these 7 inches is not easy. Maybe I could maybe Vinyl Conflict will let me, maybe all the record stores will let me sit in there and go through all their punk singles and make videos like this. At the time that I would have really cherished a video like this, I was just chasing it. It was all I wanted, and just never got there. Never got satisfied. And then it turned into other things, you know. I'd rather have kept it at these as opposed to some of the bad things that I got into. Or like drugs and pornography are my 2 biggest regrets of my youth, as opposed to these things. But maybe where these left me off not feeling satisfied, like the drugs and pornography took me up, and maybe I thought that the next time that I got another handful of 7 inches that would satisfy me, and I wouldn't need drugs and pornography anymore. Or cigarettes. Cigarettes was probably my worst thing as a teenager. But I also wanted to smoke cigarettes to be cool. Again, Mad Existence, another Richmond band. Really solid. Look at their aggression back here. Look at their angst. Vinyl Conflict label. I should also get I have a nausea back patch. When I was a kid, crust punk was my idea of what I was looking for, when really it would have been power violence or I ended up really liking emo violence. Oh my goodness, like Page 99, Majority Rule. Those bands were my jam. Snap Your Fingers, Barbara Lewis, Hardcore Power Violence Classic, Imperial Antibodies. This was I don't know if they're British or not. They definitely sounded like it. ProfaneExistence.com. Release number 59. And I will say this. It was scratched. It had a skip on it. Pretty bad. I was like, I bought it for $1. I can't really be mad. Police Beat was one of my favorite albums. Time for Coffee. Not an album, a 7-inch. Think Faster Records. What are we gonna? Oh, the nice gray vinyl. It's hard when I know that I'm maybe halfway through this to keep pulling out every little thing. I shouldn't have tried to do this all today, but I'm celebrating the release of slavery. Oh, to be a slave of righteousness is a good thing. Is to be completely satisfied. And I will say, when God takes control of your life, that He causes you to need Him. And that's where you're going to find satisfaction. So maybe that's how you know. That's how you get saved. You stop. trying. You give up. I always posed myself, in handwritten letters, I posed my salvation as if it was a suicide, right? Like, me looking pompous, like I thought a lot of myself in the first image. In the second image, me looking like I was done, dead, tired. And then in the third image, I'm dead, I'm gone. No more me. And it's completely white, and it's absolutely wonderful. And the last 4 tracks were called Hold Me and Never Let Me Go Back. I really think Slavery was an amazing, for me anyway, was quite the accomplishment. But it's my pleasure and pride in what God has allowed me to do rests in handwritten letters. Love My Life, Out with a Bang, keeping with the suicide theme there. Yellow vinyl, Big Hole. And that was salvation for me. I mean, it was like, I know I'm not going to live anymore. I'm done with me. I don't want to live anymore. I know, I always, in repentance, I say, I hate myself. I hate this. I hate being in this vessel, this earthly vessel. And, I don't want to live anymore. I really don't want to live like this. I don't want to live in sin. And God's like, well, that works because you're dead. You're mine now. And that's so comforting. I suppose you only understand it if you're a Christian. And I have an alternative way of saying it. This is on green vinyl. 50 on red. Blood on the Street, as we see. I had this a while. I don't remember it too well, but I remember this album coming up here, the second Left Cross release today, first of this video. Hell is Hell. Fantastic. Undeniable. And this was on the Vinyl Conflict label, I guess in collaboration with Anthem of the Undesirable. I don't know how it worked. Okay, and this is full business on classic black vinyl with the Anthem of the Undesirable and the Vinyl Conflict label. I always thought that it takes away a little bit from the project when you put, well, you know, some labels are certain to, I need to keep music around because Deep Throat was like, anybody have some noise for this album cover that we have now? And I was like, that's how that works, you know? Teen Milk, keeping with the theme here. And this clown has some Farm Fresh Teen Milk and some, what does that mean? And some pure vinegar, sawed off and Student Athlete. Yep. Craig Ann Colligan, vocals and Billy. Bile. Oh, Bile. Vocals, Bile. Jocelyn. Megan, bass and gas. Edwina Correll, drums and smoke. Eric Gelber, guitar and neurosis. Produced by Jeff Smith and Teen Milk. All songs written by Teen Milk. Interesting. I don't remember this record all that well, but I've had it for a long time. Secret 7 and FBO. Split. Yeah, I suppose, you know, I came into this with the claim that I listened to these a lot, and I don't remember them all that well. I suppose it was around 10 years ago, so I shouldn't expect to. But, you know, this is a revival. This is a chance for me to check these out. I meant to listen to all these, and Slicks, I'll read this for you. My Household Remedy. Somebody's butt is on the cover. Another one of these fold-out ones, and I really like this sleeve. Maybe it was by the same Not Enough Records in Sweden. I don't think so. But I like these ones that fold out like this, just the slightest bit. I feel like it's very punk rock of them to release it like that. But you do always kind of want you to be able to you do want to kind of toss them in and out of their jackets. It's crazy that I haven't listened to records in that long. But hey, I've been an adult. I've been working. Cerecloth, Halo of Syringes. I remember this one. One of my favorites. You know, always trying to get the hardest stuff in, the metal stuff in, the manly stuff in. And this was not quite there, but it was a fun record. Blood Loss. Broke Hair of the Future. I'm looking for the record label's name. Belltown Records. Transistor. I don't remember it being a great record, but I remember also being turned off by the cover. I don't know why I bought it. Gray with hints of black. Some black kind of effects here. Marcy Killings. Very, very good stuff. I think I bought the way I bought it from Plan 9, and granted it was from Plan 9. Did not have you know, Vinyl Conflict never neglected, even if it was used records, to have poly bags on their stuff. I just felt like it was, not only did it have a more fun, you know, punk rock and metal music selection, which is what I was into, but they just took better care of their customers. Cheap prices and good quality stuff, pretty consistently. Yeah, and really, really nice. Bobby's obviously an amazing person. Asylum. Richmond Band. Vinyl Conflict label. Female fronted. One of the cooler cooler bands around. Toast Bang. I love Japanese hardcore. Oh my goodness, it's so good. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they're just so aggressive. You see, you think of them as docile people, but you gotta think the anti-culture is probably very, very solid. Unsettled. It looks like an emo record. Don't quite remember. Everything falls into the same category at a certain point. Like, you have to consider, why do I have all these records? So I can keep putting records on and keep having these blasts of noise on. You know, you're looking at a kid that became a noise fan later on, realizing that I don't know what this is, but the promo for Trade, Sun Plastic Park. Yeah, I guess everybody was kind of trying to get just as much of this stuff going, as much of this stuff going as possible. My Bottom, Painted Walls, Rave, Perverts in the Bathroom, Guilty to Dare Television, Effin' Dealers, produced by Walk Together, Stunt Plastic Park, at Malibu Studio in March 1996, distributed with Having a Spaz, Milano, Italy. Classic. Well, it's a classic, obviously. Good old days. Can I put these in here? That would be nice. All right. I hope I didn't bore you too much today. I did want to get all these archive on the thing. I'm almost like an archivist in that I'm recording all of this. But it's time for me to start another episode, and this, for so much space to be taken up with phonic singles, I guess that I have my videos taken care of for a while now, and I probably will. I'll make these last 40 minutes each. 40 minutes is going to be kind of the max, I suppose, from now on. But there is a really interesting record coming up soon. So, I look forward to it. I look forward to the next one. I'm actually don't have to look forward to it too much because it's coming right up. I'm going to make another coffee and then come back and record another episode. I'll see you next week. Listen to Slavery. Maybe this is how. Okay, so I always considered I need to not just promote it for a couple weeks. I need to continue to put effort into this album because it took as long as it did, and it is as long as it is. So if you haven't listened to the whole thing yet, listen to it. If you already listened to it, listen to it again. I do have other stuff available. The Shame collaboration with Roman Shower, the Whore's Bath collaboration with Angel of the Enemy, but the big kicker is Slavery. But I talked about my salvation today a little bit. It's good to talk about that, and you should talk about it as a Christian. Don't criticize me for that. Listen to Handwritten Letters. That was a fantastic album. So if you haven't heard that was before I did any of this extra stuff. Great album. And if you don't do any of the rest of that stuff, I don't mind. You can never pay attention to anything else I did as a child, but I would love for you to know God. It's an awkward thing to say, especially to a camera. But, you don't have to reject me in real life. It's not me you're rejecting. So, if you do that, I don't have to feel awkward about it. Have a great week. Let me know if you want to trade on Instagram, and let me know about anything. I have tons of CDs ready. I hope you know what I have available. And you can always ask.